guess one of the most difficult things you have to do as captain is to take a call on players who are deeply motivated themselves, who are driven by the fire to play for their country, and then you've got to tell them you're not playing. I remember Saurav Ganguly telling me once that the most difficult thing he had to do as captain was to tell Anil Kumble he's not playing. I don't know if you had to do that with, say, someone like Sanat, but do you anticipate having to say that to the likes of Jayasuriya, Muralitharan, who've been icons, probably been idols of yours at some stage?
Oh yeah, I think well, we left Murali out of a Champions Trophy side against New Zealand, and you know, Sanat might be finding himself in a new role in India. So these things, they have to be done. There's no way out of it. If the decision has to be made, the decision has to be made, and I think rather than passing it on to other people to communicate, I think the player concerned values it as well. If it's a face-to-face chat, a very honest, open chat, and hopefully the you know, things like this are communicated in an orderly manner, which doesn't come as a huge shock or a surprise. I think, especially even with selectors, I think those are the things we've talked about at home. You know, of telling players, you know, if they think a player is coming to the end of his career, I think a fair warning should be given. Listen, you know, these are the things we're looking at for you in the next few years. These are the plans we have for the side, and well, it doesn't fit at the moment, you know. And you know, I think when you play for your country for as long as people do and great players do, I think they deserve that open communication and that honesty. But I don't think anyone expects or wants to be lied to and flattered, and you know, and sometimes you have to do that to keep players' confidence up. But I think when it comes to crunch decisions, you got to be open and say it and call it as it is.
In Asia, sometimes you tend to be emotional rather than really competition or rationally driven. And so you tend to say, but you know, he's played so well for 17 years, let him play a little longer. You've got to repay the debt he owes to us. You know, we're that kind of people, and sometimes we keep people going for much longer. The Australians, on the other hand, are a bit different. They take care of their players while they're playing, but the end is brutal almost. They just call, goodbye, tomorrow morning you're not playing. Which school of thought do you think works better? Unless you've got a third way out.
No, I think I think if a player has played for a long time, he deserves that honesty, and he deserves a direct communication. If you think he should not be playing the next test match, I think you have to tell him. If you know it a week earlier, you tell him exactly at that time and say, I'm sorry, you're not playing that next test, and this is why. And I think I think the Australian way is not just to say, okay, that's it, you're gone. I think it's to tell them, listen, I think this is going to be your last series. Do the best that you can in here and walk away on a high if you can.
When I said that, I meant a player cannot negotiate and say, can I play one more series?
I think, yes, I think negotiations, see, if you play one more game, you're probably playing in the place of another player who might not get another chance because we might be going into a different series with a different makeup of side. I think when the decision's made, it's got to be made rationally. It's got to be made with a view to the long-term improvement of your side, and also making sure that the place goes to the player who deserves that particular opportunity. And we can't be emotional about it and say, oh no, one more keeps going for sometimes 6 months. So I think when the time is right, the time is right. Someone will have that conversation with me soon. So, you know.
Are you excited about the era you're playing in? I mean, in terms of Sri Lankan cricket and in terms of world cricket, are you excited by the era you're in?
Excited as well, sometimes a bit concerned, but more excited. I think with so many opportunities for cricketers to shine now, so many different avenues with which they can represent their country, more cricketers being given the opportunity to earn a living and to display their talent on the world stage. Concerned because sometimes players might think that cricket's got an easy way out. I don't think it does. Any format of the game, whether it's a 2020 format or the test format, I think the hard work you have to put in.
Just tell them what the old Buddhist monks say. Even if they haven't said it, just pretend they haven't. Tell them he who thinks there's a shortcut is probably already on his way down.
I think so. Yeah, I think some of the things we talk about is if you're cruising, you're cruising downwards. So I think I think there are lots of good things and positives in cricket today. A few things we have to kind of watch out for and maybe, fine tune and make better. But Test cricket should always be number one without a doubt.